Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 27, doing another quick draft. I think we made our way up to Diamond in the last video, so let's go ahead and see if we can't keep pushing our way on up to Mythic. Uh, and kind of interesting start with the rim. I'm tempted to just chase this down and see if we can't just put together a Boros deck. Like, at what point are we willing to just like hard force Boros, and like what are the requirements for that to happen? I don't think taking rim is it. But I think that's what we're going to do here. I know we haven't put together a Boros video, to the best of my knowledge, we haven't. But maybe that's what we'll do here today. In my opinion, the easy take would be something like Organ Hoarder, and then the space where I would want to pick up Rem would be like pick five. If we say start with a couple white cards, a couple blue cards, a couple black cards, and then Rem shows up at pick five, and then you maybe find your way around a midnight lightning bolt or something, then sure, that seems like a reasonable way to go about this. I really can't recommend just starting with this, but that's what we're going to do here today. We'll start with Rim. We'll kind of keep our eyes on drafting Boros and see if we can't get some kind of big Boros deck together. But again, if you're out here just trying to chase down victories, I think the easy first pick here would be an Organ Hoarder. I've always happy with taking Organ Hoarders over Midnight Ambushes. Midnight Ambush is kind of like one of the weaker of the black cards, and so I think there's more of an argument if this is like a defense trade or an Eaten Alive versus Organ Hoarder, but I think I still prefer Organ Hoarder in that sense as well. So the only downside, in my opinion, to taking this Rem is we're really looking to like table a bunch of red cards. We're hoping to pick up the Midnight Lightning Bolts like pick six and pick seven and stuff because nobody else is drafting red, and this isn't a pack that leads towards that kind of strategy. But I think this is what we're doing. We've decided to go the path of Boros, and then we'll see if the rest of the packs agree with us. Doesn't seem like they're going to. There's nothing in this pack that really makes me want to continue on with Boros, and so I'm just going to go ahead and take up the Organ Hoarder. This would be a pretty reasonable start, starting with two Organ Hoarders, but you know what it is. Sometimes you just gotta go for those rares. All right, the red cards are turdy. I mean, if the red cards weren't as horrible as as say like the blue cards, then this rim first pick would be out of this world. But not what we have really going on. Okay, so another really kind of like high profile pack here. There is a Festival Crasher, and so if we're wanting to draft Boros, I think this would be a reasonable way to go about it. It's just with the Festival Crashers, I feel like I really want to be drafting not white. The Festival Crasher is really looking for you to either be in like red black, so you have a bunch of tempo removal spells. If you're able to, hopefully punch in damage with the Festival Crasher, or you're looking to be in red blue, where you can play things like Consider to have a cheap combat trick to get your Festival Crashers going, and then you have access to things like Startle, which is a top-notch combat trick for the Crashers. But so I'm not really excited about this in Boros. The pick we're going to take here is the Root Coil Creeper. I think this is a really high-valued addition to Organ Hoarder. This is one of the premier bears, in my opinion, and then I think the blue-green deck is the best pairing up with green, and so I don't think this is a too far out of reach pack here. And there's nothing else really strong in this pack. I mean, Kathar's Call's fine, but not exciting. Harvest-Tide Sentry is good. This is kind of the premier bear as far as commons go, but Root Coil Creeper is just kind of on top of all these. Okay. Well, the blue-green cards continue. I'm fine with just being the blue-green deck. I think it's pretty strong. We do see a couple of green cards here. Probably not going to table them. This is where I suspect on the way back we're going to see like Dryad's Revival. Maybe it'll be gone because it's an uncommon, but this is a fairly bad card. And then things like Abandon the Post, Stolen Vitality, these red cards are probably what's going to be tabling out of here. But there are two highly sought after green cards for the blue green deck, and the Eccentric Farmer and the Harvest-Tide Sentry. And so if something made its way back at pick 12, I would be pretty stoked about that. Okay, and so here, this is a fairly easy Fading Hope. The problems we'll see with blue-green are that they just don't interact well. We don't have any permanent removal spells. If you want to look back to our previous video where we're out there running around with the Augur of Autumn, it's just blue-green can't answer that. We can return it to your hand, we can tap it forever, but these units that give kind of like persistent effects without tapping or without attacking cause us lots of problems. So Fading Hope is one of the few ways we can hopefully deal with those kind of things, but we do have to kind of watch ourselves because our removal is garbage. Okay, well, right on track with an Unblinking Observer. You can't see it at this point, but the kind of premier play that we'll be making with this deck is to play either a Root Coil Creeper on 2, or play an Unblinking Observer on 2, and then play a Shadow Beast Sighting on 3. There was a Shadow Beast Sighting in our opening pack. I don't suspect it will table, but we are like absolutely in the place to be if we do get that 9th pick Shadow Beast Sighting. And so I'm going to go with the Unblinking Observer. It is a little dangerous passing on these duel for dominances, as we talked about in the previous pack, the Fading Hopes being, kind of as good as it gets as far as removal spells go. But I think we'll let the duel for dominance go and try to just craft the big ramp deck here. Okay, these cards suck. I'm okay with Firmament Sage in some decks. It's not really good in this one, but I think we just want to come over and let's take it here. I was going to say we can pick up Secrets of the Key if we want. I do like Secrets of the Key in this style of deck, but let's just take the uncommon. We're never going to get an opportunity to pick up one of these again. But as far as your curve goes with this style of deck, we tend to have, say like ideally we'll have like 4 Shadow Beast Sightings and then a couple Organ Hoarders, and so there's just no place for the Firmament Sage in our mana curve. But here, another Fading Hope works for me. Let's keep this curve early and aggressive. Take advantage of these tempo cards. Silver Bolts will be fine here. This is not a component collector deck. I do love me a Horned Turtle, but this isn't the place for it. Okay, the cards continue to be kind of sucky. Bounding Wolf will be fine. That's the closest thing to playable amongst those. Yeah, the cards we are looking for aren't tabling. The Festival Crashers did make its way back, but the Shadow Beast Sightings and some of those other cards did not. Flip the Switch will be okay here. There's a non-zero chance it makes the cut in our deck. All right. Well, not a bad pack 1. And then, all right. Well, I mean, I guess we could play Storm the Festival. I'm not opposed to this. The problem that we run into with Storm the Festival is the way our deck is ideally coming together is our 4-drop space is just going to be like 1 or 2 Organ Hoarders, but then a bunch of Shadow Beast Sightings, and so we miss out on a lot of the top end of the curve. Right, you're not really wanting to hit 2 and 3 drops to Storm the Festival. You want to be hitting 4 and 5 drops, and then we aren't really playing them because we're stacking all of those spell-based units. But I think it's still strong enough to take here. Ideally, something like Startle will come back, but I think this is probably the place where maybe we'll get a Secrets of the Key. Covetous Castaway is quite strong in these mill decks as well. We don't have any mill cards, so I don't want to call ourselves a mill deck just yet. But if you do get this collection of Death Bonnet Sprout, Eccentric Farmer, Organ Hoarder, then the Covetous Castaway shoots way up in value. And it's just a good 2-drop. I mean, 2-drops are at a premium in this format. Okay, well, this is where we're going to get the Castaway I don't really like the Dissipate, and I don't want to be going all in on these Unblinking Observers when we don't have Shadow Beast Sightings. And so we'll slow it down a little bit, just take the Castaway, see if we can't get some of these cards we want to show up. And here I am really tempted by this Seize the Storm. We have a bit of mana fixing in the Root Coil Creeper. It's not hard to pick up that 2/4 that taps for any color of mana. We see things like Evolving Wilds here, which would double up in quality if we're playing it with Eccentric Farmers. And so I think I'm just going to take the Seize the Storm here. We are missing out on a Revenge of the Drowned, but I think I can live with that. We've picked up, this is one of the better bounce spells since it can function as just actual removal, but with the 2 Fading Hopes, I'm feeling kind of okay. Let's take the Seize the Storm here. It's especially frightening that we don't have the Shadow Beast Sightings to go with it, so I feel a little bit safer having picked that up. All right, well, these cards all suck. There's an Eaten Alive, which we wouldn't be able to play. The Sunrise Cavalier would go nice with the Rim had we gone that path, but I think we're just getting stuck with a Bounding Wolf here. Not going to ever be playing any of these other cards. All right, Rim, you were a nice idea, but you didn't pan out. Here's a Death Bonnet Sprout. That's completely fine in this deck. Hopefully, we would be able to pick up a little bit more mill, but we just haven't really seen the tools for that. Here I want the Consider, but we got to check our curve real quick. At the early piece, we have one Sprout, one Creeper, one Unblinking Observer, and the Covetous Castaway. So we have 4 1 and 2 drops. I think that's reasonable. We can live without the garbagey ones like Timberland Guide at this point. Look at this Defense Strike rolling around pick 6 and pick 7. Bonkers. Where's all the good cards that we want instead of having the turds like that rolling around? All right, well, this will be an Evolving Wilds. If we're going to try and play the Seize the Storm, I would like to have at least a copy or 2 of this in our deck. Right, and then here we got a Bait Hook Angler. It's kind of the same deal as Covetous Castaway. It can come down on turn 2 and trade, where it can maybe get milled away, give us a little bit of value. It's a little, we're struggling a bit for the playables we're looking for, but it's okay. We'll take this other Castaway over the Startle. I do love having these early game plays. It really just kind of locks us into the mill stuff. Ooh, and the Unblinking Observer tabled. Very nice. So this is bad in the sense that we haven't seen Shadow Beast sightings. We just saw the one that we passed in pack 1, but outside of that, outside of the Shadow Beast sightings, our deck is coming together quite nicely. Here's one. I think we're just stuck taking it. Let's go back to big card view. Oh, what up, kitty? We got a kitty to help us out the rest of the way. But yeah, I think we have to take the Shadow Beast sighting. I would be okay with adding Scab Wrangler here. This is pretty reasonable in these decks, especially when we have like a bunch of these real like dirtily, I don't want to attack kind of dudes like Covetous Castaway, but we have to pick up these Shadow Beast sightings. It's just too important to our overall strategy, especially now that we have 3 ramp cards to try and get these out on turn 3. Okay, and wow, I was going to say we get gifted a Scab Wrangler, but there's also an Organ Hoarder here as well. I think I really just want the Organ Hoarder. Now that we've picked up another Shadow Beast sighting, we have the Storm the Festival. It's going to be a big hit for Storm the Festival. I think I like this a little bit more than the Scab. What are you, just some mythic dude? I think I've seen this before. When he enters the battlefield, make another non-token human... What? Hang on. Enters the battlefield or another token non-thing dies. You lose a life, make a dude. Gives humans lifelink. And then if you have 13, you can pay a bunch of mana and flip it. It's probably reasonable, but not as ridiculous as you'd want a mythic to be. All right, Organ Hoarder. Welcome. Okay, then these cards all kind of suck. We're just have to take a consider here. We could look to pick up a Jack-o'-lantern since we are playing the Seize the Storm, but I hope that our mana is kind of okay between the Evolving Wilds and the Root Coil Creeper. Probably have to play like 2 mountains here. Let's see where that goes. We could play Path to the Festival, but I'm really not excited about this. I think I want to come in and just pick up the Geist Wave so we have a little bit more interaction. Candlelit Cavalry, it is reasonable. It's a 5-drop. It's not Premier or anything. It is nice that we have Storm the Festival for it, but I think we have to be able to interact a little bit here. Okay, there's some real power coming through here in things like Dualcraft Trainer, but I think this might actually be the Jack-o'-lantern we take. Let's see how these cards look. Like, I don't want to play Bounding Wolf, but I think we're kind of stuck doing it. Filament Sage is going to come out. Let me go ahead and move that to the sideboard. Move Evolving Wilds for now just to kind of see where our deck stands. And let's at least move the cards out that we don't really want to be playing. We'll probably play at least 1 copy of Flip the Switch, but not looking too bad. I'm not amped about Consider. We can move it over. Not amped about Silver Bolts. That one leaves us that 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just call it 5 because I want to play 1 Flip the Switch. 6, 7 we want to cut. But I think this is okay. The big thing I'm looking for here is if we need to actually play a 2-drop like Pestilent Wolf, and I think we're pretty okay with that. If we're moving Bait Hook Angler over to the don't want to play pile, I think it's okay to let that one go. Okay, well, another Winterthorn Blessing is good. These cards all just play fantastically with Seize the Storm. The Shadow Beast sightings gives us a big tempo play. Okay, another one. There's the Delver of Secrets we're passing on, but I don't like playing Delvers at this stage. Like if it's pack 1, you can get kind of risky with them because they go so late, and if you get like 2 copies of it, you can really kind of craft your deck around it. But I think we're good with the Winterthorn Blessings here. Okay, I'm not playing any of those cards. Secrets of the Key is our... we don't need Secrets of the Key. Let's take the Startle. Nice, nice combat trick for us. Pestilent Wolf's going to the sideboard. Alright, I'm not expecting too much more out of this one. Take the Field of Ruin. I'm never playing Path to the Festival. I know we're playing 3 colors, but I'm not gonna run that one. Okay, so yeah, only one Shadow Beast sighting, which is a bit unfortunate, but I think we're in a decent place here. Get that out of here. I do want to move in the Evolving Wilds. I'm pretty sure I want to play 17 land on this deck as well. 1 Wilds, 1 Mountain, 1 Creeper, and 1 Jack-o'-lantern to try and cast our Seize the Storm. I think that's okay. This is a fairly expensive spell, and it's not going to get played until the late game. So we got... Did it cut us down to 16 land? I want to have 17. I think I want to add in the Forest. 15, 16, 17. Okay. Well, we could... I mean, we do have 3 ramp spells, right? We have the Root Coil Creeper and the 2 Unblinking Observers. Maybe we could get away with 16 here, especially if we're going to add Considers to our deck for a bit of cycle. Maybe. We're going to have to cut 4. We're looking to move out the Bait Hook Angler. I think I like those up to that point. Not a huge fan of Bounding Wolf here. But what's our creature count at? 11, but it's kind of like 12, 13 with the Shadow Beast sighting Seize the Storm. We're probably stuck just playing these things. We have so few units in our deck. Where are we at? We can cut the Silver Bolts. I'm just not excited about that. I think I'm okay. I'm okay with 16 land. We have this Jack-o'-lantern for cycle as well. So we're at 16, 17. We do need to be hitting this blue-green early, though. Feels greedy. It feels pretty greedy doing this kind of thing, but okay. 14, 16 land. Cutting Silverbolt. Kind of like all those spells. I think I want to remove 1, flip the switch. We're going to remove the Silverbolt. And then we got 1 to go. Man, Death Bonnet Sprout is not excited about a deck only playing 11 creatures. Maybe we do have to add in this Pestilent Wolf just to have dudes. Alright, I can get behind that. So were we looking to say remove flip the switch? I don't think anything down here goes away. The festivals, the Seize the Storms. Well, we're at 12, 14 creatures now. Okay. So scary seeing something like... Maybe we should actually just be cutting something like Storm the Festival. Like, let's be real as we look at Storm the Festival here. It has 2 cards in our deck that we're, like, good to hit, like, between the Organ Hoarders. And then otherwise it's not doing anything. That's sad, but we'll take it out. Then from this point... I think I want to hang on to 1, flip the switch. 14 creatures, we've got to stay there. So many Winterthorn Blessings. I wouldn't even mind another like early game play to just try and tempo big with these, but it's not where we're at. We'll just drop a Consider. Okay, man. If we had the 3rd Organ Hoarder because we weren't trying to be clever with Rim, this deck would really be doing some things. It would kind of make that Storm the Festival a little bit more interesting. But I think we have a reasonable tempo deck here. I think the Bounding Wolves are kind of growing on me now that we have like the 3 Winterthorn Blessings and we can make some plays with these. I think this is okay. Alrighty, let's get to battle. Alrighty, so yeah, reasonable deck. Not the strongest thing. I let a little bit of that get away from us. Like when we have like the 3 Winterthorn Blessings and the 2 Unsummons, we really want to be this like big aggressive early game tempo-y kind of deck. And that's not like what we're getting with this like Death Bonnet Sprout, Covetous Castaway kind of start. The Sprout would be fine, but the Covetous Castaway is not. But we'll see. I was kind of like high rolling into the ramp deck and kind of missed that we were trying to play the tempo cards. But reasonable enough, Keith. Okay. Vampire Interloper's usually not that great in blue-black. Let's see if they piece together some kind of flyers deck or if this is just filler. That dude's annoying. That's a that's a fact. Alright, so the front side can't be blocked and then it just cycles, and then the back side draws cards. I think that we're okay as long as he's just cycling here. We got this big time aggro draw we're working with here, so I think I'm kind of okay with that. This big time aggro, as aggro as you can be with 4 power across 3 creatures. Okay. Can do pretty aggressive stuff here. We got 1 unit in the graveyard. The Hook Hunt Drifter's not a great blocker, but I mean we can look to double Winterthorn Blessing, which I'm not opposed to, but I think I'm looking more towards like just adding a Shadow Beast sighting. Then we could try to make these big plays next turn. Again, I'm not like really worried about him cycling. I think this is okay, but it's like if he has a removal spell, this play just turns bad really fast. So we could let's just tap some stuff. Target a creature you control, cast away. One you don't. Oh, 1 we control, 1 we don't. And at least this way, if we draw a land next turn, or an untapped land, I should say, we can both Shadow Beast Sighting and Geist Wave. So we should have like a lot of good draws next turn, whether or not that amounts to either just drawing an untapped land, drawing you know, a dude that costs like 2 mana. This really gives us a lot of options as far as our card draws go. Makes a removal spell from opponent quite choice though if they drop on our Covetous Castaway. Yep. Send it to the bottom. You are worthless now. Okay, so I mean that gets us 2 creatures in the graveyard. I think we can add our Organ Hoarder. Let's see if we can't do a little bit better here. Nope. We did not hit. Could have looked to pick up the land and then just play the Winterthorn Blessing out of the graveyard, but I think we need to high roll a little bit here, and that's not the way to do it. We have another round of big tempo plays of like, especially I know we don't have too many creatures in our deck because the Sprout is not good here, but if we flip the Sprout here, we're like right back in this game. Oh, we did. Oh, such perfect draws. How do we want to go about this? I mean, I think I'm okay with them having the Werewolf on board. I think I'm looking to Winterthorn Blessing. I want to make the Organ Hoarder survive. Oh no, we're just going to come in for damage. Let's be real. This is okay. I kind of want to wait until next turn to tap his unit, though. Let's see if he blocks. Also not opposed to just playing Geist Wave here. Returning the Werewolf. It's not a very tempo-y play, though. There is a world where we just win the game on our next turn. Right? He can't block with the Interloper if he say he's going to attack with the Seafaring Werewolf. And then, I don't know, he just spends a bunch of mana on a Digraph Horde. We have both the Blessing and the Geist Wave to interact with 2 cards. Okay. Definitely bouncing this at the end of the turn. And Siege Zombie. Sure. I think we did it, squad. He's got one card in hand, so he can get himself out of this. But let's see how this plays out. You say, "Oh no, Bust! Oh no, Bust! You tempo so hard." Boom. Nice. Win a game. Feels good. Off to a big start. Okay, so yeah, you can see with that hand, like, I don't remember exactly in the draft where we picked up like the second and the third Winterthorn Blessing, but at that point we should have been like, oh shit, like these units need to be like ultra aggressive. We probably don't have much business playing Seize the Storm. We don't have any business playing the Storm, the green cards, Storm, the 5 drops, and we should have really just looked to be like this ultra aggressive tempo deck. Hopefully we can still piece it together, but I believe that's where we should have been. Hands like this, I think we have to ship this away. Our deck isn't like super high quality, and this does let us like make these slower plays into the Organ Hoarders, but like, I don't know if we ever win a game with a hand like this. If this Covetous Castaway was a ramp unit, then I would snap keep this, but all right. Let's give it a try. I'm not happy about this, but maybe if we were on the play, it would be okay. It's tough. If we draw like any early play, I feel a lot better about it, though. Well, I shouldn't say any early play, like any early creature, and I feel a lot better about it. Okay. Can still do reasonable stuff, though. Let's just go ahead and consider now. If I hit a 2-drop, I want to play it. Yeah, we'll cycle away the Seize the Storm. Just can't get it on board. Okay. Yeah, we're a long way away from playing Seize the Storm. Can't block. This thing has menace. Okay. We don't have any units in here, right? I'm not really amped about trying to get this Sprout Organ Hoarder line on the board. Let's just add in our Shadow Beast. We can start doing big stuff with him. I like doing big stuff. I don't know about you all. makes me feel good. How are we looking here? I mean, still we can make a lot of big plays, especially if we draw an untapped land. Being able to add a unit and cast one of these spells, it's not even like ridiculous if all we play for the turn is Death Bonnet Sprout. I assure you, opponent is up to shenanigans here, but I'm still feeling pretty good about getting in the attack with our Shadow Beast. We can take advantage of whatever they try to do. Doing nothing is fine. Let's add the Sprout. I like having the options to play this wide collection of spells that we have here. This is like a Flash Wolf. I'm not opposed to flipping the switch on it. Probably rather just flip the switch on whatever he tries to play next turn, but Earn the Accursed is fine. Gonna do mean things to our Death Bonnet Sprout. Keeps highlighting it over here. Let's just go ahead and shut that down. I feel like we're about to get into a race, and I think we can be okay in that race. Or maybe more realistically, he just attacks with Brimstone Vandal. But we have great plays coming into this board. Still pretty happy with this. Especially another one of these spaces where if we draw, like, say he attacks with Brimstone Vandal, takes us to 13, we draw an untapped land, we're able to Fading Hope the Rejuvenator and then get Organ Hoarder on board. Like, this is a big tempo play. I know he gets to gain 3 life off playing the Rejuvenator again, but it's still pretty big. You know, we hit a land, just not one of the good ones. Alright, damage time. Everybody likes damage time, right? It's pretty good. Pretty good to get them damages in. Hey, we got a kitty back. Up, kitty. Okay. That's going back to hand. I can assure you. I guess we don't have to like send it back to hand. We could just look to tap it next turn. Is this Brimstone Vandal gonna flip again? I don't think so. Alright. I think I'm on track to just play Organ Hoarder here. We can Fading Hope next turn. Let's see what we hit. We'll leave our red mana tapped. We only have the Seize the Storm. More Winterthorn Blessings. He can't see this coming, right? We get to just abuse his whole team next turn. Okay. His attacks are horrible, aren't they, kitty? They are horrible. Now, the only downside to this kind of play is we can only play 2 cards next turn, right? If we had played the Winterthorn Blessing on our turn, there is a possibility that we could have played 3 spells next turn. The 2 Blessings out of the graveyard and the Fading Hope. Whereas we can never play 2 Blessings out of the graveyard and a Blessing out of hand. This is fine. We're completely safe here. At this stage, if he like comes in with the Vandal, replays the Candlelit Cavalry, then we just win the game. If he tries to play a big X spell here, if he has like the Lunar Rush, we also just win the game. So I like these lines that involve us just winning the game. Now, the worrisome thing... Oh, he can't go to Knight, so okay. I was going to say the worrisome thing is if he's able to play like a Midnight Lightning Bolt, because he didn't play any cards, but he played the Howl. I'm surprised. I don't know why he didn't play the Howl first. Just do it like this, right? This is the lethal everyone's looking for. Okay. Did it. Good stuff. I think I still feel pretty reasonably about having the red in the deck. I mean, our sideboard is really lacking, right? We don't have very much that we could look to be bringing in here. I think I'm okay with that. That Seize the Storm being in the space that it was. As we wait for the game, we can update you on football. Football's fucking dumb. I can assure you that. I'm going to get annihilated in every fantasy game this week. The Chiefs game, I only got to watch it to halftime. It's like it was getting to be like 10:30 and they hadn't started playing again yet. And I was like, I don't have the time for this nonsense. People gotta go to sleep. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire got hurt. The Chiefs got dominated. It was brutal. Football is dumb. But alrighty, back to the game here. Not, this is about as good as this deck starts look, I think. I think this is okay. Opponent making the big decisions. Not sure what lane to play first. Sure, this is a big decision. They might have dropped their phone in the toilet as well. They do have the mobile version of this out. I gotta get the mobile version. I've been itching to switch from Team Tight Tactics over to playing some standard while I do my daily cardio, and so pretty good about that. I've been amped up to play Magic these days. Okay, Unruly Mob is not particularly frightening coming out of a Boros deck. But our hand doesn't really do anything, and so, sure. Let's see if we get him with the Bounding Wolf next turn. I'm content if they play a spell and we get to play Fading Hope. It's a pretty decent turn. Right, if we get our unit on board, we get the block. Sacred Fire is a different story, though. Kind of sucks. Okay. Those unruly mobs are not doing aggressive things, and so yeah, that's okay. We don't need the Jack-o'-lantern anymore. I mean, it is, I guess, serviceable as we see our opponent with a Sacred Fire in the graveyard, but I think we need to go for the higher value play in the Organ Hoarders with this one. Oh, we can't just play it out of our graveyard. Oh, it's just for a mana, though. Okay, gotcha. Not playing tons of Jack-o'-lanterns these days. It's fine, but I don't think we don't give it enough credit for how fine it is. You looking good, Jack-o'-lantern. You fine. You fine. Okay. We're going to start swinging for the fences if these unruly mobs try to come in. Come on board with this. We'll Blessing, we'll tap his Beggar. Oh, gotta choose our unit first. Tap his Beggar. Good attacks with Organ Hoarder now. Then I should have tapped the Unblinking Observer for the mana, because now we can't re-Organ Hoarder. I just kind of did in my head that we had 6 mana. But I think this is okay. The Jack-o'-lantern could actually be quite relevant if we need double green next turn. So maybe that'll turn out to be a thing. Okay. All right. Well, our aggression has been quelled. There's not much happening there. This is a fairly easy take on the Winterthorn Blessing. We did get to mill away the Castaway, which is a fantastic unit to have in the graveyard. I think we can go ahead and add this Castaway to the board. We'll shut down a lot of his attacks now. It's good to me. Such value, such value. Not even opposed to playing a Fading Hope on our Organ Hoarder to try and get this going a little bit further down the road. Okay, seems like opponent's having some kind of mana issues though, so we can wait a bit on this this Organ Hoarder type play. I want to get the Castaway on the board. Ooh, Seize the Storm though. I wish this said like how big it was. It's not. I mean, I've gotten so used to things being easier in Runeterra, I guess, but right now it's a 1. I don't think it's going to be a big one, and nothing in exile, so it's not big enough to really want to run out at this moment. Right, but yeah, I feel pretty decent about this. A little unfortunate. I'm not going to Fading Hope this though. We can try and start to get our Seize the Storms going. We're still just like not in any real danger of dying here. Here comes our 2/2. Look out, my man. Look out. We should be able to start doing some aggressive type things. I think this is fine. Let's hit his Coven, which can be annoying. I kind of want to Fading Hope back this Organ Hoarder. Let's see if he spends his mana in that way. Not yet. Okay. Oh, hey, I wanted to play the Winterthorn Blessing onto the Beloved Beggar. Let's see if he does anything weird in terms of that. Yeah, that was a bit of a waste. 6, 7. Don't want to lose our tokens to a Seize the Storm though. Okay. Alright, that's fine. And say it looks like he's he hits Pestilent Wolf. Sure. I saw him like I was really expecting that to go onto the Seize the Storm token. I guess that is kind of a greedy play, so I'm not super surprised to see that they took it this way, but all right. Well, I think the Seize the Storm should be good to start taking this game over. It's going to trample 2. That's not a really strong block. No, for your unruly mobs, that's fine. Okay, okay, he's scary. He's totally just getting bounced, but you got yourselves a real unit there. Got it. I mean, like, his blocks are just like never good enough into this token, right? Let's just go ahead and send it in. I want to keep our mana up in the event that we do need to play a consider or something to save ourselves from this combat. But I think this is fine, and we're just looking to flash back the other Seize the Storm here. We have the mana to unsummon whatever he plays his Angel Fire Blessing on. Does this ever kill itself? Like if you have one on the board and it's a 1/1 and then you try to flash this thing back? It still counts as being in your graveyard. Yeah, it still counts as being in the graveyard when it's on the stack. I guess the other thing is we have to start asking ourselves, can we just lethal him next turn? We're getting close to that area where we can tap 2 guys and then come in with the big tempests. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we're definitely going to see an Angel Fire thing this turn. We're going to have a big Fading Hope. Definitely going to be tapping this Beloved Beggar next turn. And then we'll just have to see where that gets us. Thanks. So, how many spells can we play? We've got 4, 7, 8 mana, so we can play 3 Winterthorn Blessings. If we tap the Unruly Mob, the Beloved Beggar, and the Flame Channeler, it's going to give us 1 spell. Let's see how this looks. We tap here, here, and here. You can put Unruly Mob in front of Organ Hoarder, and that leaves him with 2 health. Then we're going to have 11. Yeah, this is lethal. Okay. Oh, creature we control, creature we don't. Creature we control, creature we don't. Nice. That's pretty cool stuff, right? That's pretty cool. Let me toot my own horn on that one. Okay, you gotta wonder with games like that, this is what Reynad had in mind when he put together Tempo Storm, right? We got all the Tempo cards and the Winterthorn Blessings and the cheap bounce spells. We got the Storm and the Red Tempest Generator. Could be it. It could be it. He foresaw the future 6 or 7 years ago. Put it together. I hope they're doing well. That's one of the things. Like I do intend to really just stick to Magic for the content creation. I kind of feel like if I push Storybook Brawl to up into Mythic, that could be the kind of space where I feel good about making some additional content, like with Legends of Runeterra, where I spent most of my time making content for expeditions, but then we did also put together Lab of Legends videos on occasion, and kind of looking to see if Storybook Brawl can fill in that space. But then, speaking of Tempo Storm, I'm going to keep this. This is probably a should not keep kind of hand, but if we pick up like 1 unit in the early game, then this hand really starts doing things. So we'll keep, but one unit's as good as this kind of deck can do. But no, like speaking of Tempo Storm and the Bazaar, I've pre-ordered the Bazaar. I haven't heard any more details on it. It doesn't seem like they've updated the site in a month or so, and so that's the only other place I'm really looking to perhaps jump into competitively. Is I do like the auto battlers. And I like the games that are just like a little bit more faster paced than Magic, and so we'll see if that comes about to being anything. But who knows? It could be literal decades before before the Bazaar is released. So we'll just have to wait and see. Come on, girl. You want to hang out? Nope. All right. Kitty's meowing like they want to hang out, and they just don't want to do it. And a silver bolt. Okay. And not a lot going on here. This is my worry about hands like this. Is we just don't have anything to do now. So we'll pass. I mean, top decking 2 lands was not ideal, but I think this is okay. I'm all right. Just not playing Evolving Wilds just yet either. If we pick up a 4-cost spell, we can still play it. And then if we don't, oh, here's a cat. If we don't, then it's still fine. Okay. Meow. All right, we can add it now, so we can get our 2/2 seize the storm next turn. Not exactly what we're looking for, but let's see. Did he mulligan or something weird? He is like super low on cards this game. I don't know if we just missed that or not. It's a little scary. I mean, I don't want to get our token smashed by a silver bolt, but I don't think you have a lot of say in the matter. You can make it up to a 4/4 next turn. Like a singular Winterthorn Blessing makes this back into a real unit. Okay. Milled off a memory deluge. That's how you get right back in the game there. Dang, son. All right. Tapping our mana good. We don't need the red, but whatever. All right, we'll play Bounding Wolf on their turn, I guess. I mean, there's a world where Bounding Wolf is quite good against these decks, given that it has reach. But I don't think we'll need it immediately. This is fine. We might actually get a Lunarch Veteran here. Let's see what he shuffles back. Falcon Abomination, Locked in the Cemetery, and Soulgriff Guide. Okay. It's gonna bring the squad. Are we gonna get the Bounding Wolf block? Candle Trap. That's some horse shit. Got him. Yeah, we got him so good. I scared the cat with that noise. Alright, alright. So let's see. What are we going to do here? I think this is just a Winterthorn Blessing onto the Castigator. We have to get something pushing on. That looks good to me. Then we'll be adding a Covetous Castaway. Let's just start with Consider. The Castaway's not really doing anything on this board. Don't want an Unblinking Observer. Jack-o'-lantern. Okay. Creature we control, creature you do not. Get him. It's time to get that zombie in, right? This is the best that zombie's ever gonna be. You're living your best life, zombie. You're sliving, as I learned. I learned from Paris Hilton. Slaying and living his best life. Sliv it up, zombie. All right, not a bad turn. We got that memory deluge out of here. Candle trap keeps us from being able to block. I think that's fine. Looks like the silver bolt's going to hit our bounding wolf, which kind of sucks, but we'll spend the mana. Going to take 3 from the Castigator. We have the Organ Hoarder to add to the board next turn. Don't have a lot of good draws left in our deck, but really counting on this token to do a lot of work. But this should be above average Geist Wave, right? Getting to Geist Wave onto the Castigator flips it back up to the Covetous Castaway side. Ugh, dude just played a ton of cards. be cool, bruh. Everybody doesn't have this many cards to play. Bounding Wolf, surprisingly good here. We have 3 mana after playing an Organ Hoarder. It's not even that good with the Beloved Beggar on the board. We don't really have any answers to it, though. It's all up to the Winterthorn Blessings. We'll see. We'll just post-combat. We'll play the Covetous Castaway. I'm looking to play a Bounding Wolf next turn. He's going to be attacking with the Luminous Phantom, so we should get a reasonable hit with it. And then we can Geist Wave back the Castigator. But I mean, again, like the Geist Wave onto the Castigator is not a stellar play. Yeah, we got him so good with Bounding Wolf today. Get wrecked, son. Get wrecked. Alright, Geist Wave doesn't seem worthwhile. We were the ones that got good. I think we're probably done in this one. Let's see what we can Organ Hoard into. Yeah, I was gonna say we got to be finding our Winterthorn Blessings. It's our only way out, I think. We need to make it like 3 turns, right? We got to get in 2 attacks with this thing. We can potentially make those sweet plays where we Fading Hope something and punch in additional trample damage. I think that might work. If his play of the day is going to be blocking our dude with the Beloved Beggar, it opens us up to like Winterthorn Blessing something else out here, but we're about to get bombed for a bunch of damage. Taking 6/7, falling to 3. Okay. Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. I guess we're just missing out on 1 point to damage, but I wanted to Winterthorn Blessing one of his big flyers up here. Our dude has trample. I don't think he realized that. Gonna be short on damage either way, though. So we have to tap one of these flyers. Just too much life gain. A little bit too dirtily. That's what we get for keeping hands where the only unit is the Covetous Castaway and a bunch of combat tricks. But we're still in it, though. Maybe he'll do something dumb. So much. He's got fucking 4 of these things. I'm curious how much health he gained this game. One blocker here. The Fading Hope. You cost 3 or less, so let's get a Scry in. He can replay the unit either way. So I'm not ultra worried about that. He's gonna gain like 5 health off of this Bounding Wolf block. Okay. Give us something good, deck. I don't think anything in here wins it, but alright, we're not doing 21 this turn. GG. Alright, on to the next one. Yeah, so this is ultimately like my worry with this style of deck as far as we pieced it together is, I mean, we should have mulliganed that hand, but trying to play this triple Winterthorn Blessing deck, and your aggro package is a bunch of 1-attack units. Now, granted, that game was probably going to be a struggle either way. Like the 4 Soul Warden draws, just having to deal so much damage, but it doesn't quite make up for us keeping a hand that was that turdy. But it sucks. It's like so brutal taking mulligans in this game. I think I randomly came across the thing on 17 Lands talking about the update to the new mulligan system to where you redraw the 7, then put something back, and it's still like taking a single mulligan, I think, reduced your win rate by like 25%, and then after that, like going to 5, I can't remember what the win rate was there, but it was pretty abysmal. I'm going to keep this as we enter the greed land. I think, I mean, we have a lot of decent draws. So as long as we don't just come out here and just start drawing land, we have a lot of decent draws. This is thing number 2 I've been considering in terms of Magic and keeping 4 land hands and best of 1. Like in best of 3, I don't think you can mulligan it. Right, since going to 6 on the the normal shuffle or draw system is pretty painful, but here where we get to like redraw where they try to shuffle lands into your hand, it's not as bad, and so I'm curious how frequently we should ever keep these 4s, or if I've just been kind of low rolling in those terms. But with this, back to the actual gameplay here, I can't flash the Bounding Wolf down on our opponent's turn, otherwise this Harvest-Tide Infiltrator gets to flip. And now I think we're going to get to just start making tempo plays. If he taps out for a 4/4 or something, this is pretty big for us. Not what he did, but if he has a Flash Wolf of his own, we can't startle this down. All of the Hunt. Makes him a 6/6. That's kinda unfortunate. It's gonna get bombed. I mean, I think I'm good to startle. I want to flip this back down to the normal side. Let's see if we pick up anything. We didn't. That's fairly bad. I was kind of considering just playing the Winterthorn Blessing anyways. But yeah, that was a pretty brutal loss. I mean, I guess the Howl of the Hunt was going to untap his unit and it was going to be able to come through either way, but oh my god, what a what a horrible space to be in. Is this just gonna happen again? What's seriously happening here? Oh my god. Oh, how are we? We're just gonna get brutalized here, aren't we? Like, has to be like a flash wolf or something. But we can't just not attack. We like what? Like, how do we ever win this game if we don't attack here? Yep, and now we just lose our dude. Oh, that's so brutal. This would have been okay if we didn't draw like 4 land. I don't. This is like the exact reasoning as to why I think we have. It's like I've had such a low success rate in best of 1 with these 4-card hands, and it doesn't seem like it should be variance. It's just like, what do you ever do at a space like this now? It's like we just have 3 lands in hand. We have to, like, if we hit a Shadow Beast Sighting or an Organ Hoarder, it's not that bad. But you know, if you draw a Jack-o'-lantern or something here, then we're just going to get savaged. Bait Hook Angler, like, what do you do? All right. So yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know with that. That game would have been fine if we had a bounce spell. We would have completely tempoed him out of that game. But I still just don't get it. It's like I think that makes sense though, right? In best of 3, you can't mulligan a 4-land hand, especially when you have plays. I mean, I'm not talking about these 4-land hands where it's like a combat trick, a 4-drop, and a 5-drop. Like it's hands like that in best of 1 that are reasonable, where it's like we have a reasonable set of plays, but if you draw like 2 lands in your top 4 cards, you're just like so super far behind. It's I don't know. I don't know about that. It seems like absurd to me that you would ever do that. Like, I know at best of 5, like with like 5-land hands in best of 5 or best of 3, I've typically been pretty happy about mulliganing that away. Historically, I mean, there would be occasional formats that were like slow enough, or you could be in like, you know, in game 2 against a like big control deck, and you'd be fine keeping a 5-land hand. But these 4s in best of 1 have just been brutal, brutal. Especially if you just draw like 2 land right at the stop. And I mean, you're something like, we can see whenever the thing comes up, you're something like 40-45% chance to draw land, and so it's not super unreasonable to like draw 2 out of the top 3. That probably happens like 60% of the time. Some nerd can tell me how that math actually works, but like it just seems like 60% of the time losing every time is a pretty bad way to be going about it. I don't know. I have to be more aggressive with that in the future. I'm still not used to this world of best of 1 and wizards, you know, kind of messing with your draw rates. Not that kind of draw rate. All right, but I mean, we've certainly gotten punished in the past 2 games for not taking those mulligans. Just this deck isn't good, and it needs all the help it can get. But I don't know. Okay, back to action. So what do we got? All right, well, these are the kind of hands we're looking for, right? Let's go ahead and keep that one. Get these turn 3 Shadow Beast sightings going. Oop. That's That's pretty tempting to put away, but I'm gonna decline on that one. We have such a good turn 4 with all this stuff. Oh, not Pestilent Wolf. Like, if we're able to play the Shadow Beast sighting here on 3, and then on turn 4, you know, tap a dude and play another dude. I mean, that's what life's all about. It's what life's all about. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah, so I mean, what I'm looking to do here, he never attacks with this Astronomer, but we can play the land. We're just going to go ahead and throw down Pestilent Wolf because, you know, this is how things happen quickly. We're going to Winterthorn Blessing, put the +1/+1 counter on our Creeper, tap his thing so his blocks are now shit tier, and let's get these swings in. So now we're in this space. I assume that next turn's going to be another Winterthorn Blessing, but we can play Seize the Storm if we want. Really weirded out by this attack. He's not doing anything with that. I kind of like playing Seize the Storm here as well. How big is it? We have 3. It would be a 4/4, and then the Fading Hope would make it a 5/5. And this, so we can say, like, Fading Hope, the Festival Crasher, play Seize the Storm, crash in for 6. I think I like it. Do we like it more than, like, the Winterthorn Blessing play, where we tap a Crasher, bounce a Stinger or something, and then get in for 10? I don't like that nearly as much. That big power this stuff can do. This is, if you just see the deck like this, if this was the only deck that you saw, you'd say, oh shit, Bust. Oh shit, you got it together. There's some, you know, you got some cards that are off theme in this one. It's dang. All right, yeah, them's the draws right there. I'm glad we got at least one of those in. I usually like it to be game 1. People don't like watch as much of the middle games. Like, the people tend to watch the draft and then maybe watch the last game and then go into the recap. But so I like it if the big games like that are like either the first one or the last one. So if you're not watching everything, you can at least see the hashtag LCS big plays, if you will. I don't know what big plays hashtag that Magic has, but oh, the LCS is in Worlds now as well, aren't they? The League of Legends. I haven't followed the competitive League of Legends for a while, but I thought saw something pop up on the old Reddit about the League Worlds. Come on, bud. Kitty number 2 making an appearance. Got okay. We can't keep this one. We as sweet as these hands are with all the Winterthorn blessings, we gotta let that one go. Okay, that can make up for it though. How do we send back? Can we realistically keep a Seize the Storm? Probably not. Okay. This would be pretty sweet if this was the the Root Coil Creeper being able to drop the Organ Hoarders on 3. But not what we got today. I want my Seize the Storm back if we're just going to come out here and draw lands. It's only fair. It's only fair. I'm willing to go ahead and get this going. The Unblinking Observer, we don't have anything to ramp into, and so if he wants to make trades, I'm fine with it. The Organ Hoarder, these cards all kind of suck, but there is a world where we kind of want to just maybe we should have picked up the Jack-o'-lantern, right? Because I'm not really amped about this Bounding Wolf, and that would flip our Death Bonnet Sprout, so we could potentially get that going from this point forward. Man. And it does cycle at worst. Maybe that would have been a good Jack-o'-lantern pickup. Of course, we we just draw more lands because that's apparently what life is all about. All right. Yeah, I don't know how we beat blue black with the draw like this. I mean, we could have potentially made this play with the Bounding Wolf, but we are just like so far behind in cards now. He's highlighting our Death Bonnet Sprout, so I have a sneaking suspicion it's about to get killed. But I mean, we can potentially like draw out of this with a not a not a lot of potential drawouts with these. Of course. Yep. So I mean, if we draw Shadow Beast Sighting or Seize the Storm, we might be able to do something here. But I mean, I don't know what's realistic with this. Like, we drew like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells and 8 land. There's just not a lot we can do about it. This deck isn't really capable of playing a long game. But we'll try. Well, I mean, we'll just have to let him start putting the tokens on stuff. If we can play Bounding Wolf and then maybe draw Winterthorn Blessing and start chunking in some damage, that's at least a path to victory for us. Okay. Okay. Love the games like this. And so, kind of is what it is. It was some really low quality draws there, but kind of at the end of the day, at least. But before just getting stupid games like that, we are at least still kind of like pushing ahead here. And I know at least as far in terms of being in Diamond, we were struggling a bit last month. I feel much more comfortable with it this time. We played a couple of dudes that were in Mythic rank and took both of them down in this run, and so I think that we could probably get ourselves into Mythic this much. Just a matter of getting in the games. I think we're good enough to do it, and so nonetheless, let's get this deck pulled up. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay, and so here we go. So yeah, my takeaways with this one, I know we ran into a bit of this problem. We've kind of been talking about the concept a lot here recently as far as getting the right cards for the archetype into the right deck. And I'll have to go through when we go through the draft, I'll have to kind of take note as to where we should have just been like, oh shit, yeah, we're playing this tempo deck, right? Because that's most certainly a thing. We could have had this like really aggressive blue-green deck with all of the fading hopes, all of the Winterthorn blessings, and then even things like Startle gives us a lot of really powerful early game. But as far as a tempo deck goes, you probably don't want to be playing Covetous Castaways. You don't really want to be playing Flip the Switches, and so that breakaway point is to where we say, oh yeah, we're not playing the ramp deck. We aren't playing this like dirtily Organ Hoarder deck that gets a bunch of value out of the Shadow Beast sightings and floods the board with big dudes with the Shadow Beast sighting in the Tempest Storm. And we're actually this like Winterthorn Blessing based tempo deck. I'm not sure. I will look at it in the draft and see where we should have tried to make that distinction. But that's certainly a thing. And so these are like two separate decks in general, right? I would have to say like over 90% of the time, you're going to be in this kind of mill strategy where you're trying to use like the two big concepts you're looking at, right, are the self mill with Death Bonnet Sprout, the what's the 2-drop? I'm thinking the Death Bonnet Sprout, the Eccentric Farmer, and the Organ Hoarder being like your engine, and then having the ramp cards, the Unblinking Observer and the Root Coil Creeper into Shadow Beast Sightings being your payoff. That's the kind of the big strategy you're typically looking for, but this tempo deck we were trying to run with today was a little bit different. And so yeah, that's the big problem that we have. We certainly don't have enough creatures here, and the creatures we do have aren't high enough quality, and so we should have been focusing a lot more on early game bears. You can also look towards a lot of the flyers, since you can tap your opponent's 1 flyer and then give your flyer the bonus, and you can also look a lot higher towards things like Hound Tamer would have been fantastic here. Just a lot of the aggressive green dudes we don't actually have access to. And so maybe if this, makes an appearance again, we'll be more ready for it. But we'll see. I'll talk about more of that as long as we go back to the draft. But the last thing I wanted to call out here was I was super happy with Seize the Storm. This was pretty easy to pull off in terms of being able to cast. All we had was the 1 mountain, the 1 Evolving Wilds, the singular Root Coil Creeper, which taps for any color of mana, and then the Jack-o'-lantern as means to cast it, and then we had no issues whatsoever casting it today. And so I felt really good about that. It is early game, not as powerful as Shadow Beast Sighting, right? If we have the curve of Root Coil Creeper on 2, Shadow Beast Sighting on turn 3, then, a 1/1 Seize the Storm isn't that big of a deal. But, as a game closer, a late game kind of play, then the Seize the Storm was absolutely fantastic. And so very happy that we picked that up and had that addition in here, because we were really hurting in terms of ramp just playing the singular Shadow Beast Sighting. And so that was good. I was really happy with Seize the Storm here. Okay, so yeah, we can talk about this a little more. Again, I was wanting to come in and draft Boros just to try and get a Boros video together for everyone, but it didn't happen. Again, we made mention of it. Your first pick here should be Organ Hoarder, but we didn't go that route. And then as far as this draft goes, I knew there was a Shadow Beast Sighting here. I was hoping that this tabled as this draft kind of went on, but that was not the case. The Shadow Beast Sighting did not make its way back. But again, the first pick here should have been Organ Hoarder. We said that in the draft. We're saying it again now. I get that Rem Ulos, the Stalwart Slayer, is not a real first pick quality card in terms of Organ Hoarder being in here, but we knew how that went. This draft could have ended up, of course, a little bit differently if we had the 3 Organ Hoarders. We might have wanted to play our Storm the Festival at that point, but we didn't miss out on too much here. I think you kind of even look at this as like, what if this was just like a good black rare? Would that have like affected our draft too much? Maybe not. But here, I thought this was fine. The Organ Hoarder, easily the best card in the pack here. There was nothing for us to get real cutesy about with Boros. And so I think the Organ Hoarder here was a very easy take. I do like the Root Coil Creeper here as well. This is the most powerful card in the pack. We're not going blue with Consider. I didn't want to, dive into to Boros, but with just a Festival Crasher. If this was, a good red uncommon, or if this was like a Midnight Lightning Bolt, then we would be, kind of okay to continue on a Boros plan. But that's not the case here. I was very happy with the Root Coil Creeper. And then just picking up the Winterthorn Blessing next was a pretty good indicator that we should be into blue-green. Even if that wasn't the case, there's no Boros cards here, there's no good black cards, there's no good blue cards, and so I was pretty happy with where the Winterthorn Blessing took us. And then with the possibilities of Harvest-Tide Sentry or Eccentric Farmer potentially tabling, that was pretty big. Again, I don't think it happens too frequently. With the worst cards in this pack being like Dryad Festival, to a degree, Bat Whisper, but Abandon the Post, Stolen Vitality. Like there's some, fairly fillery kind of cards here that I would expect to come back, but there's definitely a world where we do get an Eccentric Farmer back out of this. So reasonable set there, but I do like the Winterthorn Blessing. Fading Hope, again, we talked about this as a lot as just being one of blue-green's only interactive abilities. Happy enough to come and pick that up. Unblinking Observer puts us into the ramp style of deck. None of this really like screams at me, hey, you need to be in the tempo deck now, but I think it's coming together pretty well as the blue-green mill deck. Here, the Firmament Sage is fine. It's the only real playable out of these. The second Fading Hope, maybe that leads us towards being more aggressive, but I don't think it's quite there yet. Then the rest of the way, we aren't really missing out on anything. It's a bunch of filler from that point forward. So here, this was kind of interesting, right? I think the Storm the Festival still is the pick here. We're not quite ready to just draft Covetous Castaways. I mean, I guess I could see it if we had maybe taken like an eccentric farmer or something, but I was pretty happy with the raw power in Storm the Festival here. And then even if we had had this like double Organ Hoarder deck, I think we would have been much happier with the Storm the Festival. Where we ended up at the end of the day, I would have rather just had Falcon Abomination, but we didn't know that that's where we were going to land. So here, I mean, again, like nothing here like screams to me, oh, you need to be playing this tempo deck. I think the Covetous Castaway is fine. We do miss out on a Blinking Observer, but we don't have our pile of Shadow Beast sightings just yet. Very happy with Seize the Storm here, just missing out on Revenge of the Damned, and like nothing has really screamed you need to be in this tempo deck. I think we managed this pretty reasonably. Like Death Bonnet Sprout's still happy in the mill deck. We aren't missing out on anything. Consider is still good. I mean, the Evolving Wilds, sure. Like it had to have been just like deep into pack 3. But like the other thing I'm kind of looking at throughout these packs is like we just didn't have the early game aggressive cards available, like our Unblinking Observer Wield, Flip the Switch. Yeah, we didn't miss out on too much. I'm still like pretty happy with how this draft went. The Shadow Beast sighting, of course, a great addition here. These Scab Wranglers were kind of odd, to kind of see go around. This could have been one of our aggressive units of choice, but I think we still like it. It's so weird where the it had to have been just like here in the middle of pack 3 where we got the second and third Winterthorn Blessing. I think that makes sense how this played out. Consider is the only playable. Geist Wave is the only playable. I mean, we could have considered taking Candlelit Cavalry, given that we had the Storm the Festival. That's to a degree like at this stage of the draft. I think if we had the three Organ Hoarders, we would have just taken the Candlelit Cavalry. And kind of looking back on it, I think I would have kind of liked it a little bit as well. So we could have played Storm the Festival. But as far as our deck goes, is there an easy way to get back to this? Like how our deck finished. That's what we just clicked on. Limited. Here. If we would, how that like kind of Storm the Festival deck would look. Like we could flip the switch. Some of these Bounding Wolf kind of cards could start to go, and then we're playing the 2 Organ Hoarders. The Storm the Festival just pushes our curve way up, and then at the bottom end, the things that come out, it's like we could easily cut out Consider. The units all have to stay, but we could probably cut out a Startle. I think we could have made that fit and just been more of a kind of rampy style deck if we'd taken the Organ Hoarder and the Candlelit Cavalry. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, here we probably should have picked up the Pestilent Wolf. That would have done quite a bit of help to fill out our early game. And then here's just the super late Winterthorn Blessings. I think we would still end up with this Winterthorn Blessing at pick 6 and pick 7. But man, that's so weird that these just showed up so late. It's like I'm curious where we missed out on like the Storm the Festival deck. I think it's like I want this Winterthorn Blessing, but I probably don't take this one. And then we have the 3 Organ Hoarders, the 2 Candlelit Cavalries, the Storm the Festival is our top end, and then we look to be just kind of more of a high-powered ramp deck. I think that would have been okay, but these big units don't benefit. They only benefit from Root Coil Creeper. They don't benefit from the Unblinking Eye. Interesting little draft that we had here. I thought that was a fun one. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. I'm glad we got some of those big blowout games in there. And I don't think we missed out on the tempo deck. We never saw any of the good green creatures, right? We weren't seeing the 3/1 Coven for 2 mana. We aren't seeing Hound Tamers. We aren't just the good green aggressive units weren't here. We were just missing out on Pestilent Wolves. So. All right, I think that turned out okay. I think at the end of the day, yeah, we should have been playing towards Storm the Festival a little bit more. I think that's where this draft kind of went downhill. I think it's good if we would have those kind of like tempo outlets. Like, you can just straight up win a game. I know we did it once or twice in there where we're just curving like Death Bonnet Sprout, random 2-drop into a Bounding Wolf, and then just playing a tempo game on our opponent. You'll get that draw like once or twice in a draft, even if you're just playing the more rampy style deck. And I think that's where we ultimately should have landed. But Good times, good draft, good draft. So let's claim these packs. I'm bad about forgetting to do this on occasion. So we'll claim the packs, see what we got, and then we'll call it a day. Something from Kaldheim. Okay. Not familiar. Gotta be familiar with what any of these are. Cyclone Summoner. You're constructed playable. Alright. Alright, we'll take it. And then Innistrad. What do we got here? Ghoul Caller's Harvest. Not playable with anything. There has to be a combo deck and like constructed for Ghoul Caller's Harvest, but not what we're doing here. And Jadar. Fantastic and everything. So that is gonna do it for us today. I hope you all learned how to ride the Tempo Storm a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.